invitation. I'm happy to be there. So what? Okay. I have to put, okay. It's okay. Yeah? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Whoops. So we will speak about early stage endometrial carcinoma, a disease where molecular classification has already an impact on treatment and will probably change therapeutic options in the future. I thank also Professor Charigari, who gave me some slides for this presentation. Sorry. So until 2015, the prognostic factors and classification were based on the FIGO stage, the grade 1 to 3, the presence of lymphovascular space invasions, histologic type and age. And with these factors, tumors were classified in either low risk, global stage 1A, grade 1 and 2 without lymphovascular involvement, intermediate risk in yellow, stage 1B, grade 1-2 without lymphovascular invasion, intermediate risk in orange, the same groups but with lymphovascular invasion, and stage 1A, grade 3, and high risk tumors in red, all other tumors and type 2 tumors. Surgery has evolved with mini-invasive techniques for hysterectomy and bilateral annexectomy. Nodal exploration also is different according to the cases, from pelvic nodal exploration with or without lymph-aortic dissection to sentinel node exploration alone. And now mantectomy is now reserved for selected histologic cases. Adjuvant treatment were proposed according to the risk of relapse, and for low-risk patients, the risk of relapse is very low after surgery, and a follow-up was recommended until now. For intermediate risk patients, the risk of relapse is a bit higher, but essentially local and controlled by a local therapy, but without impact in survival. This was clearly proved in the PORTEC-1 and the GOG-99 studies, except in the group of intermediate and high-risk groups, where clearly radiotherapy is better than follow-up in the subgroup of the GOG-99 studies. The PORTEC-2 and the Swedish trials confirm that radiotherapy is better than brachytherapy alone for pelvic control, but have no impact on vaginal relapse nor on survival. And the question of adjuvant chemotherapy arose only for high-risk groups of patients, and in this pooled analysis of 2 sequential studies, radiotherapy followed by chemotherapy for the first one, and chemotherapy followed by radiotherapy for the second one, there is an impact, statistical impact of adjuvant chemotherapy in the failure-free survival and in cancer-specific survival. And in the large PORTEC-3 study that tested adjuvant radiochemotherapy followed by 4 cycles of chemotherapy versus radiotherapy alone in high-risk group of patients, they showed that chemotherapy improved overall survival significantly and failure-free survival, especially in stage 3 and in serous histology. On the other hand, the GOG 258 study, which asked the question of the impact of radiotherapy added to chemotherapy for locally advanced endometrial cancer, did not show a significant impact of radiotherapy in this subgroup. So the European recommendation of post-surgical treatment in 2015 for low and intermediate risk was based on conventional risk, and for the recommendation was follow-up for low-risk patients, brachytherapy for intermediate risk patients with an optional follow-up for patients under 60 years, and for high intermediate risk patients, brachytherapy for patients with node-negative tumors, and radiotherapy or brachytherapy, depending on the presence of lymphovascular space involvement in a patient with unknown node status. And for high-risk patients, the recommendation is pelvic radiotherapy followed by chemotherapy, in particular for stage 3 and type 2 tumors. Okay. But we have learned from the TCGA that all endometrial carcinoma are not the same. And the genomic classification based on P53 mutations, POL-E mutations, and MMR protein deficiency is prognostic and had to be integrated in the therapeutic decision. The recommendation is to perform the POL-E mutation status first, and if it's positive, to stop there. But if it's negative, to perform the MMR and P53 status in the tumor. Sorry. This molecular classification is important as it has been illustrated by the TransportTech Academic Consortium, International Consortium, who developed the new trials, academic trials, with time. The PORTEC 1, 2, and 3 trials and the analysis of results according to this molecular classification have conducted to perform new kind of trial, the PORTEC 4, which is a biomarker-driven refinement of local radiotherapy, local therapy, and the RAINBOW, the next generation trial, which is a biomarker-driven refinement of adjuvant of medical therapy according to the molecular classification. This one, the RAINBOW trial, will start soon, we will see after. And the molecular analysis of the PORTEC trial, the PORTEC 1, 2, and 3 trials confirm that the molecular classification is prognostic, with a low rate of P53 mutations and a high rate of NSMP populations in low-risk endometrial carcinoma, and a higher risk of P53 mutated tumors and a lower risk of NSMP tumors in a high-risk endometrial carcinoma trial. These curves illustrate the prognostic factors of this biologic classification, as well as the predictive value of this molecular classification, as we see the prognostic impact and the excellent response to chemotherapy of the P53 mutated group. So we have to integrate probably more often the molecular classification in our adjuvant treatment. So according to these results, the 2021 definition of prognostic groups integrated the molecular classification to define the prognostic risk groups in addition to conventional prognostic like stage, LFSI, grade, and age. And adjuvant therapy are the same as previously, but according to new prognostic groups. The future is probably to more individualize the treatment based on this molecular analysis. For example, the PORTEC-4 trial attempts to refine the local treatment adjuvant to molecular risk factors, and in the high intermediate risk population, this trial adapts the local therapy according to the molecular integrated risk profile in the experimental arm versus vaginal brachytherapy in the standard arm. So part of the study is to desescalate local therapy for about 55% of patients with favorable prognosis, and to escalate treatment for the 5% of patients with an unfavorable prognosis. And results are expected this year. The step after is to adjust medical treatment on molecular analysis and results, and we hope that the RAINBOW trial will respond to this question with 4 independent trials. The red one, which is led by Alexandra Liri, raise the questions of PARP inhibitors after chemotherapy for all patients with a P53 mutated tumors. The green trial will test immunotherapy in the MMR population advanced endometrial carcinoma. The yellow one will test hormonal treatment in the advanced NSMP tumors. And the blue one will test follow-up in endometrial carcinoma with the POL-E mutation. And all these studies will start soon, I hope. Another important question, according to the recent results of association of chemotherapy to immunotherapy in first-line metastatic endometrial carcinomas, is the impact of this association in adjuvant setting for a high-risk endometrial carcinoma, and the MKB-21 study, a randomized phase 3 study, asks the question and is closed to inclusion, and the results are expected, I think, next year. So, in conclusion, a revolution has been started in the early stage endometrial carcinoma treatment, and desescalation of surgery first, and then a paradigm shift in adjuvant treatment with a better definition of prognostic groups, with integration of the molecular classification to define local and medical adjuvant treatment. But to define the best options therapy to our patients, it's essential to have pre-surgical information with a good MRI and good pathologic and molecular determination. Thank you.